What is up, everybody? Bleeding Blue Podcast, episode 64. Goddamn, we are back at it. Lots to talk about this week. We got lots of sports going on. We got Leafs, we got Bills, we got baseball, we got everything. Everything's going on right now. But let's get it started. Let's just jump right in and start talking about the Bills game that happened uh, on Sunday afternoon, I should say, which did not go according to plan. It did not go the way we hoped it would go. I mean, our prediction was already that they were going to lose this one. We predicted
hmm
not going to do well. And what do you know? They lost the game against Houston, Texans. Stephon Diggs, came out in front. It's kind of hard to watch. CJ Stroud had a good game, a decent game, and yeah, and Josh Allen didn't. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough game to watch for sure. The first half was atrocious. Like, I don't know if it was worse than the first half of the Ravens game, but it was pretty bad. We couldn't get anything going on offense. The only source of offense that we had was James Cook because he was playing great, and he was the reason why we had 3 points in the first half. Was basically him. Everything else was shit. Josh Allen only completed 9 of his 30 passes all game, which is I think this is probably the worst he's ever played in a game. I honestly, I mean, no interceptions, which was very surprising. There was one 3-and-out I remember where you could have easily had two straight plays. You could have easily had an interception, and I forgot who the cornerback was or the safety, but he could have had 2 interceptions easily, but he just dropped the ball both times. Yeah, just a horrible game all around. We at the beginning, the third quarter was our only source of hope. There was the first drive that we had after forcing the defense was great. We got to admit the defense was pretty good. You can only do so much against that offense because they got weapons all around. Obviously, like you mentioned with Diggs and CJ Stroud's probably a top 5 quarterback right now in the NFL. So props to them. It's hard to defend that, but we got lucky. Nico Collins getting injured after his touchdown catch. It honestly could have been way worse than this. We were very lucky that we only lost by 3 points. And that third quarter was great. I honestly thought it was like that. It was like I mentioned last week with the Ravens game. We came out hot in the third quarter after halftime. Got a really quick touchdown and then another 3-and-out, and then got that fourth down touchdown fourth down to Keon Coleman, which was a great play. I honestly thought he stepped out of bounds early, but nonetheless, we were right back into the game. And then as time went on, we just brought them, tied it up, and then we had the ball at the 2 yard line with what was it, like 40 seconds left. 40, 50 seconds left. And what does Sean McDermott decide to do? You know what? Let's throw the ball on our own 2 yard line with no room to spare. But what we could have done is we could have ran the ball, wasted their timeouts, and even if we didn't get the first down, they'd had no timeouts to, progress with the ball, win the game. And if we do get the first down by running the ball, then we send it to overtime, and we could have possibly gotten the ball and won the game. But no, McDermott wants to be a fucking idiot like he always is with time management and fucking throw the ball where Josh Allen only has 10 yards only 10 yards to work with in his own end zone. So this has happened. I don't know if you've obviously watched the Bills for, a couple seasons, but this has happened with McDermott for all 8 years he's been with this team. He does not know how to clock manage well. Obviously, the notable one is the Chiefs game in the playoffs with 13 seconds left, and the decision to play prevent defense with 13 seconds left to let the Chiefs tie the game. But yeah, McDermott has had problems in the past with this, and this is a prime example of why we're not a contender this year. And I'm just going to say that right now. Where if we continue to go down this path of not being able to manage the clock well, we are not a contender this year. We're not going to go far in the playoffs like we usually do. Go into the division round. We're going to be a wild card team, barely a wild card team if this continues to happen, because we can't manage the clock well late in games, and that's why we lose.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we always lose games because of this shit. Like I said this to my friends yesterday or Sunday, or whatever. I would rather lose in a blowout than lose games like this, because then after a blowout, we can go to the drawing board and figure something out, or get someone fired, or switch something in the offensive or defensive scheme. Like it disappoints me because every year there's always a game like this where we just fuck up and just can't go the next week and figure it out. It's so frustrating to watch games like this. Like after the Ravens game, I wasn't that mad because obviously we were 3-0 at the time and we lost to a good team, so I wasn't that mad. But the Texans are a good team. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not discrediting them in any way. I'm discrediting the head coaching and clock management that our team decided to produce, and it's if this continues, it's not going to be a very good season.
So what are you doing then in that situation? What are you doing?
Like, with the ball at the end,
10-yard, yeah.
running the ball. It's the only logical way to figure that out, because Josh Allen throughout the whole game, he hasn't been passing well. He hadn't had a good game. Despite the play calls that Joe Brady was giving him, the offensive coordinator, he was not having a good game. And James Cook has had a semi good game, 82 yards on the ground. That's what his final stat was. And you decided to throw 3 straight times on the 2-yard line. Josh could have easily thrown a pick six there. And even if it's like even if you're in the second quarter up like 15 points, or you're in a close game in the second quarter, you're gonna run the ball in that situation no matter what. Waste as much clock as possible for the other team. Despite even if Josh was on pace for 600 yards passing, which would never happen, obviously. If he was on pace for 600 yards and they wanted him to get the stats or whatever, I don't know. I'm just making stupid situations. They would still run the ball on the 2-yard line. No one would pass on the 2-yard line in no other situation. It was just stupid play calling. And this has happened in the past, like I've mentioned with this team. They have to run the ball in that situation no matter what. On the 2-yard line, and they had all 3 timeouts. You got to let them waste their timeouts so that if they potentially do get the ball back, they have nothing to work with.
Yeah.
So it's just, strategic plays like that do not help this team in any way possible. Any other team. Like that's football 101. I don't know how McDermott has not figured that out.
No.
It's like I just said, I'd rather watch a blowout and turn off the TV in the third quarter than sit through a game like that and watch them lose off a winning field goal.
Yeah.
Mind you, a 59-yard field goal to win the game. 59-yard. Like that's a long way, dude. That's halfway.
I know how long it is. Yeah.
It's fucking insane how these guys in the league now are kicking massive field goals.
Yeah.
To win these games. It's insane.
So
yeah, that's my opinion. I think most Bills fans would agree with me on what I just said.
I think they would. Yeah.
Not Bills fans, not even just Bills fans, like football fans in general. You run the ball in that situation. You don't pass. You don't give Josh Allen the ball to pass when he's had a shit game and let him do that.
Yeah.
You give the ball to James Cook and let him run 3 times.
Fair enough. All right. How about we move on then from Bills talk? I mean, yeah, the next game that they're playing is against the Jets.
Yep, and they're not having a good season either. They just fired their head coach. They just fired Robert Saleh today. Yeah, so this Monday night game next week is going to be very interesting, to say the least. I'm pretty sure Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, is going to be the head coach now until they hire someone. Obviously, people are saying Bill Belichick might sign with the Jets, which would fucking suck as a Bills fan. just to, get traumatized by him again. That would suck.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just hope this game is not anything like the past two games. I just hope we can get something cohesive going on offense. The defense, I'm not worried about because they've been injured and they still play fairly decent. Like they only allowed 23 points against the Texans offense and they turned over the ball twice. So I'm not mad about that. It's the offense that I'm worried about. And we I don't know if we mentioned last week about Devontae Adams, who's looking for a new place to play. If the Bills somehow trade for him, that would be great. But I think we need to focus on just getting a regular, good playbook for Josh to work with, because McDermott and Joe Brady need to figure something out because the offense fucking sucks right now. It's not good.
Well, let's take a look at the standings though right now, because right now our Chiefs are 5-0. Of
Yeah.
course, the cookie cutter team with Taylor Swift. Um, the Texans, they're pretty good right now in the AFC South with the 4-1 record. Ravens have come back from 0-2 to 3-2 now,
Mhm.
streak. Whereas
They could have easily lost. They could have lost last week too to the Bengals, and they could have been 2-3 after that big win against us last week.
yeah, and
They
uh,
pulled it back.
the NFC Vikings, as we were talking about, dangerous team. The
Very
Commanders, I don't know
dangerous.
what the fuck this is.
They are fantastic. They could be a dark horse in the playoffs this year.
Where the fuck
Jaden Daniels is a special player. That's all
yeah.
I can say. He is a special player. And now Terry McLaurin, their wide receiver, now finally has someone he can catch the ball from, and he looks great too. So and they have Eckler. They have Austin Eckler from the Chargers last year, Brian Robinson Jr. At running back. I mean, their defense looks pretty good. Like they could be really good in the playoffs this year, man. It could be a big dark horse.
Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, they're another team.
Falcons had a big game on Thursday.
Cousins, yeah.
Kirk Cousins over 500 passing yards.
Wow.
Yep, I picked him up in one of my fantasy leagues because Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Eagles, was on bye. So I was like, you know what, Kirk Cousins, let's give you a chance. 52 fantasy points for my team. Great. It was a great week. It's a great week for him.
He's been pretty solid for them. Like yeah, and he is how old? He is 36 years old right now. So
Yep.
to a 4-year deal, I'm pretty sure it was. So Big Kirky, always dripping like this.
Kirko Chains is his nickname.
I mean, you like that. Like that's the thing. You like that. So
Yeah.
um get it? Get it?
Yes,
Um
I do.
anyway,
I do.
let's move on from our Bills and NFL talk, because we've got a lot to get into still. In terms of baseball talk and NHL in hockey predictions for our league.
Yeah.
They will be playing tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah. We're recording this on Tuesday, so
yeah.
but the NHL does start today.
Yes,
So
it does start
some
today,
games on.
but the Leafs don't play. I saw the games; they didn't look as good as I thought they would.
It's preseason. It doesn't really matter. Like,
Season?
preseason. It does in a sense, but like, at the same time, they're the main players are kind of half-assing it because they don't want to get themselves, injured. So they don't want to go too overboard in that sense.
Are you sure it's a preseason game though today?
No. I mean, I thought you said the Leafs don't look very good.
No, I wasn't saying that. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about they don't look very good right now.
No, they look fine. I mean,
No, but no, I was saying, were you talking about?
I'm talking about
Yes,
there's actual baseball or there's actual hockey today though.
yes. Technically, the season has started because the Sabres and the Devils played a couple games in, where was it? Czechia or
I don't know.
somewhere in Europe. They played a couple games, so I guess that's kind of the start of the season, but it hasn't really officially started. But yeah, the NHL does start today, but the Leafs don't play it tomorrow. They play the stupid, trash, horrible Montreal Canadiens.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
the
excited. I'm excited to watch my
unfortunately,
my shitty Leafs once again.
so yeah. All right. Well, let's talk some baseball though, because
Hmm.
division series have continued to roll on. First time in baseball history, from what I saw, that all teams are tied up 1-1 and 1-1 and 1-1 and 1-1.
I love it. I
We've
love it, man.
we've got we've got the Padres and the Dodgers facing off against each other with a crazy game too, which had fans throwing balls and drinks at the outfielders like Jerks and Profar. We got absolute robberies by Jerks and Profar. I love that. I thought that was the such a cool moment. That was so funny too. It just absolutely fooled all of the Dodgers fans. And guess what? He's got it in his glove the entire time. Just fooled everybody. Huge home run robbery in a playoff game. How cool is that?
Hmm.
So they're tied up 1-1 right now. And then the other series in the National League that is going on, another really good series is the Mets and the Phillies. Mets and the Phillies again tied one apiece. Uh, Phillies walked it off against the Mets at home, but the Mets came out with a win, another comeback win in Game One, which was great. Mark
Hmm.
Vientos hit a 2-run home run in Game Two, which sent the game to the bottom of the ninth, where Nick Castellanos hit a walk-off single. So, I mean, how can you not be romantic about baseball? You love to see it. It's one of the coolest things. You just want the Mets to win. I know I do. They play tonight. They play at 5. So in a few minutes, or in like about 20, 30 minutes, they play. And they'll be facing off against the Phillies at home. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Also got another good series in the American League with the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals right now. Again, tied one apiece, where the Yankees took game one, close game, and then yesterday, one of the funniest moments I've ever seen. Carlos Rodon is on the mound, straight goes 3 up, 3 down, first inning, and goes. He's oh boys, it's on tonight. It's on tonight. Woo! He's getting all hyped up, fucking going all crazy.
Salvi takes some yard. Salvi's a fucking beauty. Love
Yeah,
Salvador Perez.
sure. Salvador Perez took him yard, but he fucking went three and 2/3, 3 innings and 2/3.
Yeah, it's on tonight.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? That was horrible. I mean, I'm happy. I love it because he's a fucking little douchebag. That Carlos Rodon, he sucks. Like every time he's about to get pulled, he fucking one more. Come on, give me one more inning. He's like a little fucking child. Like he doesn't like he begs for every time for for Aaron Boone to take him out. Like it just be
Yeah,
I hate coaching Carlos Rodon, man. Like he's also just not good. Like he's so mid. Like he's so goddamn mid of a player. He had
yeah,
that good season in San Francisco, and now he's just annoying as fuck. Like he's yeah, not for me, man. And of course, yeah, he just gives up 4 runs, had a horrible outing, like he sucked, and gets pulled, and then that was the game. The
yeah.
Kansas City Royals ended up beating them with like such a band of misfits. Like Guriel is on their team, a 40-year-old.
Yeah. Tommy Pham.
Pam, like Michael Garcia, like Salvador Perez is also fucking old as shit too. He's like 34, still good, like still good, but still, it's just like a such a wild team, like
Yeah.
interesting band of characters. They've got a really good pitching staff too. Like they've got Seth Lugo, Michael Waka, Cole Ragans, and like I'd like to see them go far because they're a undervalued team for sure, and they don't always have the most like uh they don't not saying they don't have a lot of love from their fans, but they just don't get a lot of fans going to their stadium even when they are good. So
Right.
they're an undervalued team, that's for sure.
Fair
So,
enough.
and yeah,
I'm
like
still pissed off at them for being the Jays 2015. So
they were good
I
that
just hate I just hate Kansas City in general. The Chiefs and the Royals. I'm just not a fan. Just that city. Just
really. Yeah.
not my style.
Well, they've got. I'm trying to look at other players they've got that are okay on their team. I mean, Hunter Renfro. It's like again, just like some wild character. Adam
Yeah.
Fraser. Frazier, like 202 with them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Vinny Pasquantino, he's pretty good. Michael Massey, Kyle Isbell. Yeah, like it's just
But it's working apparently. It's working. So
yeah,
there's
you're
always that team that picks up random people in the trade deadline, and then they just go on. One team that I remember was the St. Louis Blues in 2019, when they won the cup, and they just had like these random people on their team, and they just fucking won games. Like it was, you know,
nobody's business. I know.
it just happens every year, man. There's always that one team, right?
Yeah.
There's always that one team in the playoffs.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I agree with you though. There is always this Kansas City Royals is crazy, and then but you also got the Detroit Tigers and the and the Cleveland Guardians in the Battle of the Mid Off. So
Yeah.
that's
That's probably the only series I'm not really paying attention to.
but the thing is though, it's still a good series because they're both
Yeah,
teams
they're
that are
both good teams. They're both good teams.
yeah, they're okay. Like the Cleveland Guardians are good. But the Detroit Tigers, like they're the exact same thing as the St.
Cinderella story.
Louis Blues. Like how they ended up making in the playoffs beats me, but it's that Tarek Skubal and Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter. Like they've got some good pitching, really good. They have really good relief pitching, and they've got one insanely good starting pitcher in Tarek Skubal.
Right.
He's just awesome for them.
Could be like a Madison Bumgarner-esque playoffs for him.
Yeah, it could be, man. Like just bring him in like the game 7 of the World Series and at like the fourth inning or something like that and let him eat. Like that's obviously if you know the history of the Madison Bumgarner in game 7 of the 2014 World Series, he came in like the 5th inning and just pitched the rest of the game and just completely dominated like nothing.
Yeah.
Like allowed like 2 hits or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they do that with Tarek. He's a fucking dog on the mound, and that'll be again. I think a good series. The series is tied 1 apiece. Guardians took game 1, and then Detroit with the comeback win at blown save by Emmanuel Clase with the Kerry Carpenter with the go ahead bomb. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I have a question though for you. If I don't think he will. If Javier Baez comes back off the IL, do they?
Oh God, they better not.
Okay, he's on the 6th.
They do. If they do, he's there. They're fucking losing. He better not bring him back.
What a terrible deal. 6 years.
He's so bad, man. He's so bad.
I don't know how he's so cooked though, too. Like, I mean, I guess he's kind of old. Like he's 30, 31. But, like, still, he should be better at this. Like, it's just should be better. Like,
yep.
He's not a bad player. Like he's like in 2021, he was pretty good actually. Like he had 265, he had 299 within Mets, and he had 31 home runs that year. And all of a sudden, like as soon as he signed a deal with Detroit, like it just slowly getting worse and worse. 238 in 2022, 222 in 2023, and then 184 in 2024. Just terrible.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you kind of feel bad for him, but I mean, he does it to himself with those fucking horrible swings. But again, yeah, it doesn't matter because he's not a part of that series, and now that the Detroit Tigers are doing well and they're through, so good for them. Good for them. Anything else you have to add though on that?
No. All I have to say is I'm 4-0 in predictions this year. So I'm gonna bring that luck in with me into in the bet 365 hopefully, and maybe I can make some money for myself.
I'd have to, man.
Yeah,
you should have. That would have been. I don't know why.
It's fine. Later on, I'm gonna do some futures for the NHL based off my picks this year. So
yeah. That would have been a smart idea to do. I might do a bet on the next few games just to Maybe I'll
Do
hope.
you want to just quickly name off who you think's going to win the series is right now?
Okay.
I'll do mine right now.
Yeah,
You
you
can think
go.
about it. Okay, so I think the Yankees win in 5. I think the Tigers win in 4. I think they win. I think they win. I think they win. They go even. Wait, no, that doesn't. Yeah, they win both games in Detroit. I think they go. I think they win in 4. I think the Mets win in 5, and I think the Padres win in 5. I don't think the Dodgers are not winning that series. They rely too much on Otani and their stars to make plays. They're not going to win. They're too. It's like the Leafs. You know, they rely too much on Matthews and Nylander and Marner to make plays. They don't realize that they have other players on the team. So I think the Padres win that in 5, like they always do every year. They always choke in the DS.
Fair enough, man. Um,
Nice and quick.
all right. Let me do mine then. Let's see here. I think Cleveland and Detroit. I think Cleveland wins that series in 4. I
They
think.
win. They win both in Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. I think in the Yankees. I think Yankees. They like their path to the World Series. I heard this is so clear. Like they should be. Well,
Yeah.
on paper they
This
should.
is the year to do it. This is the year
Yeah,
to do it.
I know. And then the team they would have to be facing after would be either Detroit or Cleveland, which they are better than. Like they're on
Yeah.
paper are better than them.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's the Padres. Like I think it's either the Padres or like the Mets. Like they say still, it's not going to be a hard challenge. Like I mean, if the Mets beat the Phillies on paper, if the Mets make it to the World Series, they should beat or the Yankees should beat them. And
Yeah.
then the Yankees beat, and then if like the Padres get to the World Series, I think the Padres or sorry, the Yankees should beat them. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah,
This
that's
is really the year that they can get to 28
right.
championships. Like this is the easiest path that they can have. Unless the Dodgers, turn it up or the Phillies turn it up, then they'll have a challenge.
Yeah,
But, if the other two teams win in the National League, then they should be able to win.
yeah, for sure.
There's no doubt.
All right. Next, yeah. So, and then the next one, Mets and Phillies. I think I want to say the Mets, man. I was right
Yeah.
with my prediction for them and
Yeah.
the Brewers, and look
Yeah.
what happened.
Okay.
Bet you it's gonna be something crazy, just something crazy in like Game 5. That'd be awesome. And then Padres all the way, man. I don't care.
Yeah. Are they winning both? They winning both in San Diego? They could do it, man. They could do it. Yeah.
100% could. Yeah.
They could do it. Because the Dodgers are that pitching is a problem. They can't let the Padres keep scoring runs that early. Because every the first 2 games they've scored first, second inning every game.
I know.
They can't let that happen.
The Dodgers don't have pitching. You're right. Like they just don't. They rely on their hitters, which you can do. Like it's not a thing you like that's bad. Um, but yeah, like they rely heavily on those guys. Like they rely on, excuse me, like they have Glasnow's off the IL. I'm pretty sure. I want to say he is. No, he's not. He's on the 60-day IL. Yeah. So,
Mm,
and then Gavin Stone, they have Walker Bueller's pitching tonight. Bobby Miller is on not even on the roster. He has not
right.
been good. Like James Paxton, they DFA'd. Yeah, they got no pitching, like literally no
No.
pitching whatsoever. Everybody's just getting injured after injury after injury. Yeah, that's all I have to say about them. It's not good.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, what else is I gonna mention? That series is it's not gonna go the same way as it has in the past, I don't think, for the Dodgers, and they're just not gonna win.
Yeah.
All right. What shall we do next? Out of
Let's do our buy and sell. Let's do a
Okay.
buy and sell segment here. I'll go first in the buy, and then you go with your buy.
Okay.
We were literally just talking about it. I dissed them. I dissed this league last week, saying that they don't have good playoffs and they're very predictable. But I'm buying the MLB playoffs right now. Like you mentioned, every series is tied right now. You know, there's some exciting baseball being played. I'm loving it, man. This is the most I've been entertained by baseball since the Jays were in the playoffs last year, and yeah, I love it, man. Like I can actually watch a full MLB game right now. Like that, like I can't, I couldn't sit through. It was hard for me to sit through a Jays game this year, and right now I'm loving it, man. Like you said, you're a big Mets guy, and I'm watching the Mets right now, and it's entertaining. They're making the game so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely enjoying it right now. So that's what I'm buying this week, and hopefully it continues.
Okay.
Hopefully this streak continues of baseball just going crazy.
Okay. This kind of messes up with mine, but I'm gonna have to do my uh I'm gonna have to do this in an interesting way. So
Okay.
what I'm buying, I'll say this right now, and then I'll do my sell, and then you do yourself. Okay, just
Okay.
for the fun
So
of
you're
it.
doing both, but you're going back to back. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go back to back. So buy, I say buy a razor if you can. Buying a razor is the best thing for you.
Okay.
And you want to know why? Because I'm selling curly hair. Curly hair, it's for fun.
Wow. You're gonna sell what I have on the top of my head right
Yeah,
now.
I honestly, I think yeah, and like perms
Okay,
especially.
so let's explain this. Why are you buying a razor and selling curly hair?
Oh, I'm
I
gonna
don't.
buy the razor to shave off that fucking curly hair. If somebody, if I see,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. All
and
right.
that's my point here is because I'm not a fan of. I'm definitely not a fan of people with curly hair, especially people that curl their hair. And I also think it's just like you're up
I
here,
don't curl my hair.
curl there.
This is
I'm
all
sure it
natural,
is.
man.
Yours isn't bad.
But, but
You
you
okay?
said, but
Hey,
you said, but you said you hate people with curly hair, and we're literally on a podcast together.
before we talk about this, your hair is kind of curly. Like it's more wavy. Like it's more. It's
Okay.
when I mean curly.
I got waves.
No. You know what I
No.
mean? Like wave.
I understand. I understand.
Like it's just like it's kind of yeah. It's like if you grew your hair out, like it wouldn't look like a fucking Jerry curl. Like it wouldn't look like an afro.
No. I don't know. Not if you put chemicals in it. Definitely not.
Yeah, and I'm saying people like Johnny who have curly hair like that look super good. And I saw the photo of him, and he looks like a fucking chia pet. He looks disgusting. He looks like there is a fucking bunny rabbit and a fucking a
Uh,
living in his head. I feel like there is you could put a bird's nest up there, like if you want
uh.
that bad. And then
Or who we saw yesterday, Mister our favorite City Boy JJ. That guy definitely puts chemicals in his hair. There's
I
no
think
way.
that's goofy as fuck, bro. Like I
Yeah.
think that's it's stupid, especially people who perm their hair. Like I think that's like
Oh,
one of the cringiest things you could do. And
I
so
hate it so much.
yeah, it
I
is
hate it.
horrible. And I don't believe that Johnny. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just naturally. He's been naturally like disfigured by like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's my thing. And your hair, yeah, I wouldn't say your hair is like that curly. Like I don't look at you and go, okay, Ryan is a curly
But
headed.
when it does get like really long, it is pretty bad. Like it's pretty bad curl wise. But I don't do it anymore. I don't get it long like that bad.
No, when was the last time it was long?
Probably like beginning of high school.
I gotta see a photo of that, bro.
No, I got photos. Yeah.
Yeah,
When I
um,
was younger too, I grew it up pretty long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I and then that was my buy and sell.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
let's
why so just the razor, so it's just a connected buy and sell together.
yeah. You need
Okay.
to sell
All
your
right.
hair and sell your hair to Not, not cancer, because no kid that's dying wants that.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm selling. I don't know if you've heard this song. Just came out recently. Mr. KSI. Probably he's my
Oh,
favorite.
the thick of it, everybody
Yeah,
knows.
yeah, yeah. I'm the. Don't get this the wrong way. I since 2013, honestly earlier, I have been the biggest KSI fan. Like, sidemen, everything. This song is horrible. Like atrociously bad.
I don't think it's
Like
that bad.
I know he's trying to, a little positive and shit. Like, he's going very positive, but this is a complete turn from other music he's made. I liked in the past when he's done his other albums. I like his music, but this is so bad, man. And, there's a reason why he's taken a little break from music and stayed in the YouTube game, because this is horrible. This is really bad. He needs to step away even more and figure something out, because this is a bad look on him, you know.
Fair
And
enough.
that's why I'm selling it, because I'm the biggest KSI fan. Seeing him make music like this, I hate seeing it, because I love the guy. He's my favorite YouTuber of all time. So like you know sad to see him like this, and he's basically getting bullied on the internet because
He
his music
is.
sucks, and it's tough to see that, because usually he's the one doing the bullying, right? Because that used to be his thing back in the day, but now it's like, it's just sad seeing him go out like this. So hopefully he can make a good turn, because I love KSI, man, my
Yeah.
favorite YouTuber. So
Yeah.
but I gotta sell. He's got to do some changes. He's got to do something new.
Yeah.
Maybe get a collab with the Rizzler, or go talk with the Costco guys to get some music with them, because they're popping right now. The Costco guys and the Rizzler, they're doing something right.
They are.
So maybe they got it. Maybe he's got a collab with them. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
All right. Let's move on then to our next segment,
yeah.
where we'll be doing Leaf season predictions before
Hmm.
we move on to the final one, which is pretty big. Um, let's get this one. Let's do a good job with this, because I think
Hmm.
it's very important, and I don't want to see it coming back to bite us in the ass when by the end of the season. So I'm playing this extremely conservative. Like
Yeah, not like the Jays predictions of losing the World Series. You're not going to be saying that, or maybe you could be. I don't know. Maybe you're just
no,
faking me out right now.
definitely not. I'm gonna go first though. I'm gonna go
Okay.
through mine and then you go through yours. But
Okay. All right.
for their record, for their final record, which we'll be starting off the list with, I think 47, 30, and 5 is a pretty good guess of how this team will.
Okay.
I think they are the exact same team, if not worse, than what they put on the ice last year. I think they're the exact same team. You can have your Chris Tanevs and your fucking Max Domi extension.
Hmm.
You could have your, Nick Robertson getting a little bit better, but it's the same. I think it's the same team as
Okay. Okay.
the best player. I think this guy now in the captain position will be almost even better in
Yep.
term as an offensive player. I think Austin Matthews is
Yep.
the clear-cut choice to be the best player on this team. And he was the best
Do
team.
you think he reaches 70 goals this year?
I mean, he could. I don't know. It's hard. Usually, after a great season like he did this year, I think he's. Uh, uh, it's hard to like come back and do an even better job than 69
Hmm.
goals. I don't think so, but you never know. My next, but yeah, that's. I think he'll be the best player though.
Okay.
Worst, John Tavares, old. No,
Yeah.
I just don't think he's gonna be. I don't think
Last
he's
year
gonna
in
be
his
the worst player on
contract.
the team, but I think he's going to have the biggest regression, and he's not gonna be as. He's not going to be his regular self, I don't think, and he won't be as positive of a player. I think he's going to be the hole in this lineup and on this team. Yeah, that's what I have to say about him, John Tavares. I want him to succeed. Maybe he does have a rebound season from what he had last year, but
Yeah.
from the looks of it, he's slowly been getting worse and worse. So years go
Yeah.
on. But surely he could still be good. And then breakout, Nick Robertson.
Yeah, he's had a great preseason, man.
I think
He's had
that's
a great preseason.
That choice of a guy who has had an awesome preseason. Yeah, and I think he's on this roster and he's going to be really good. So I think it's going to be him for sure. Or Joseph Wall. I think is going to have an incredible breakout. Either he's going to be maybe pushing 50 regular season games, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, because even if he does get injured, we still have Stolars, who's a great backup, great backup choice.
Yeah, and then how far this team gets in the playoffs, first round. That's it.
Who are we losing to?
Boston.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Tampa.
No, I don't know about Tampa. I don't think Tampa. I think Tampa.
No, you're right. Tampa will.
Do you think what place do you think we get in the division?
Third.
Like, are we in third? Okay.
Behind Florida and Boston.
Florida and Boston. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Record. I have 2 more wins than you. I put 49 and 35. I think just because the addition of Berube, I think it'll be, I think will be a bit more, figured out in terms of what our identity is as a team, and I think Berube will be definitely a big help with the people who have big egos like Marner, Matthews, Nylander. I think he'll definitely kind of figure out what their place is. He'll let them know what their places are on the team. Yeah, so I have 49-35. I think they have 9 overtime losses. It's whatever. Like, I just include that with it. Usually they always have a lot of overtime losses because it's the Leafs. Best player is Matthews. I think that's probably the obvious answer. Him and Marner will probably be playing on the same line. Hopefully, Berube does that tomorrow just to see where things are. There's going to be a lot of experimenting at the beginning of the year of like how lines are going to look and like who's playing with who. I would like to see Pacioretty on that line with Matthews and Marner. I think that could be very interesting to see how he plays with the young guys. Worst player I have Ryan Reeves. The guy I don't know how the guy made the roster again. He's literally like almost 40 years old, and he adds the strength and aggression to the roster, but like at the same time, man, the guy can't be out there for more than 30 seconds without fucking losing a gasket. Like the guy is, you can't skate. Like,
I know.
He has his 1-4 checking, 5-10 second checking session of hitting every player on the ice, and then he just gets off. We could have someone better on the fourth line than Ryan Reeves, in my opinion.
It's going to be on that line, though. You think like if
who on the fourth line?
Yeah,
they'll probably put Kampf or Yarncroke. Like Yarncroke I think he made the roster. No, he didn't even make the roster. Like he's Yarncroke is, I don't know what's up with him. I think he's probably going to get traded soon, or he's going to get let go, put on waivers, which is sad to see because Yarncroke's a good player, but he should be replaced by Reeves because at least Yarncroke can fucking skate. Yeah, it's sad. Like they just brought this guy up, Lawrence, Stephen Lawrence, who's had a good preseason. He's probably going to be on the fourth line with Kampf and Holmberg. Probably those guys will probably be on the fourth line. And then breakout star, I have Bobby McMahon. I think he had a great season last year. He got brought up when I can't remember who got injured, but he got brought up and he scored 4 goals, I think, one game. The first game he got brought up, so or he had a great start to when he got brought up, and that was kind of the start of that run the Leafs went on when they were trying to get into the playoffs. And I think McMahon will just continue that this year. I think he'll have a good year with Robertson. I had also as an honorable mention for breakout star. I think them two will be good. Put them on the second power play unit when the big dogs are leaving the ice. I think he'll have a good year this year. I just like the way he plays too. I think he's a great player. So I'll put him at breakout star. And for the playoffs, like you said, lose in the first round. But I think we'll be second in the division, but we'll probably lose to Boston once again, as it happens every year. With 49-35, I think they can just edge out Boston or the only teams that are really going to be first, second, and third are us, Florida, and Boston. I can't really see Detroit or any other team in our division being up there because Boston made some great moves this offseason. So they will probably have the same record or it could go either way with Boston, but we're going to lose to them anyways in the first round, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's what I have.
Understood. No.
Yeah.
Can't disagree.
And I know Purdy is going to be loving what we're saying right now because he's like the biggest Boston Bruins fan. But it's true, man. It's true. Yeah. It happens every year. We always have high expectations for ourselves when we go into the season. And this time we just have to be realistic. And
I know
we're going to lose in the first round again. Like that's what happens.
What reason should we have? Should we think to believe that
it's not going to happen again? Yeah. I mean, you could say Berube, but because he has experience winning the cup, but it doesn't matter.
He's a coach. Like, how much value is he really going to put on a team?
I know.
Like, sometimes it's important, like, to just get a new vibe into the locker room. But what you put on the ice and how sure, like your sportsmanship and if you're a diva will affect. But there's been fucking plenty of players in the past who are fucking divas and still help propel a team to a World Series or a Stanley Cup or an NBA champion. So now it's not like fucking I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a famous sports diva. Like it's not like
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman was the nicest.
But he also had Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a guy that like actually carried the fucking team. I don't know. A-Rod. A-Rod's an example of like a fucking
okay. Yeah, but look at the teams that he was on. He had great fucking players beside him.
You're right.
I mean, he was a great player. Like he won MVPs, but like
there are examples. I'm sure there are examples to think about. I don't know. Like maybe on the Jays, I'm trying to think. I mean, Josh Donaldson's an example of a guy that helped. He definitely carried that 2015 team, even though there were players like Batista but Josh Donaldson is an example of a guy that was a total fucking dickhead.
Right.
In the locker room, especially. But yeah. All right. Let's move on then to our next list, which I am very excited. I don't know how different our lists are going to be. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. There are definitely things I am excited to talk about, and it is top 5 with an honorable mention. Movies of all time, and this is, I think, in our opinion, but at the same time, they are the greatest films of all time. They are.
Yeah.
Our choices will always.
Most of the films we're mentioning are in everyone's consensus top 25, top 50 movies. I don't think there's really a debate.
Yeah. 100%.
We are movie nerds. We have letterbox accounts, so. This guy, is be a fun one.
This guy's got a Patreon account, so
fucking right, I do.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
for movie.
I love my posters, man. I love my posters.
Like fake NFTs on Letterboxd. Like
it's great, man. I love it. It looks so nice.
They're pretty cool. They are pretty cool. I will admit. I will. But you want to go first? As I went first.
Sure. Let's go. All right. I had a really tough time with this. Like a really tough time. Because movies are so different in their own way, different genres, different filmmakers, different styles of film. Like there's so many different ways you can go about it. Like I feel like I need to start at 1 and then work my way down. I feel like because number 1 is the easiest answer for me, and I think you already know the answer. But you know what? What? No, I'm not going to start at 1. I will go. Okay, honorable mention. I'm gonna go with shit. Okay, honorable mention. I'm gonna go with 2001: Space Odyssey. Um, Probably the best. No, it is the best sci-fi movie ever made. You can debate and say Interstellar or
Star Wars.
one of the Star Wars movies, but no, 2001: Space Odyssey was made before the 70s, before the moon landing. Stanley Kubrick, probably my favorite director of all time. Just the things that he does in that film without uh, special effects. Um, being a focal point like Interstellar does. Actually, no, Interstellar I can't say because it's Nolan and he's he doesn't do special effects, but this just the scene with the guy running around on the spaceship, with the circle and shit. He makes it like Kubrick did, like a hamster ball, and just stationed the camera in a way so that it looks like he's running.
Yeah.
It's just masterful, and like no other director I think can ever do that in that time, in that era of filmmaking. It's just something completely different than anyone has ever done. But I don't think it's better than the movies that I'll mention here. Number five, I have a Nolan movie. It's called The Dark Knight. I think everyone's fucking watched it. Definitely the best comic book movie, superhero movie ever made. Heath Ledger, obviously, like, rest in peace, but like one of the best performances of all time as the Joker. Christian Bale, fantastic actor, great as the Batman, but I will say he's not the best fighter as a Batman. If we go, if you go, yeah, if you go to Dark Knight Rises when he fights Bane in front of the bank, in front of the stock exchange,
Yeah.
it's got to be some of the worst fighting I've ever seen.
It isn't good.
But Christian Bale's a great Bruce Wayne. I'll give him that. He's definitely a great Bruce Wayne. But
Also, the
just
worst line, like, also the worst comeback. I just have to say this because it's so goofy. He goes,
yeah,
"So you came back to die with your city."
yeah,
He goes, "No, I came
yeah,
to stop you."
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, all
yeah.
right.
So I gotta go Dark Knight at five. Just a great fucking movie. Like, not even if it's not, I don't even feel like it's a superhero movie. I just feel like it's a great fucking action
It's like Heat,
thriller.
bro. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh my god, I was so close to putting that too. It's so high on my list. Heat. It's so good. Number four. Um, this is probably the movie that really opened up films for me. Um, in terms of just eye opening, I got to go Pulp Fiction.
Mm.
Probably my favorite living director, Tarantino, who has never done wrong ever in a film.
So,
Just a great supporting cast of just great actors. John Travolta revived his career because of this movie. Samuel L. Jackson, this is basically the way he started his career, like really jump started it. He'd been in major films before this, but um, he was just his presence on screen is just fantastic. Uma Thurman, obviously, very, very good. I can name so many people in that movie. That's great. Harvey Keitel is fantastic also. But I think just all the different little stories involved in the making of it, and the fact that it's non-linear and you go back and forth with different characters and the chapters, and it just at the end it all comes together with the beginning scene and the ending scene. You meet the fuck's his name, Tim Roth, meets Samuel Jackson in the diner. It's just the dialogue alone is some of the best written scenes ever. Like, it has to be up here. And
yeah.
if you don't like this movie, and I'm talking about my sister, who I showed it to her and she hated it, I'm talking to you. It is, yeah, it's they just, she doesn't get it. Number three, number three and two are basically the same fucking movie, but I have to put both of them in. The Godfather 1 is number three.
Mm.
And that leads, I can just say number two is Godfather Part Two, but I think The Godfather is probably the movie I've watched the most in my life, I think. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I remember with my dad. I watched it with my dad for the first time, and he's like, after the closes the door and the movie ends, he's like, "That's the best movie ever made," and I was just like, "What are you talking about?" And then I had to watch it a few more times to really get it, and I'm like, "Okay, this makes sense." And then I watched part two right after I kind of understand the first Godfather, and then the part two is with De Niro. They flip back and forth with Vito, and then Michael as the mob boss, now the head of the family. It's just old Sicily, the beginning of the film with Dunchich. It's just so good, man. It's like the filmmaking, the dialogue, like it's nothing. There's nothing compares to and then part three just ruins it. But we don't talk about part three. We just talk about part one and two as a whole, and just how good. The fact that Al Pacino alone doesn't win a fucking Oscar for either movie is blasphemy. To
Get
me,
nominated?
he did get nominated for both
Oh, he
movies,
did.
but
Okay.
he didn't win, which is completely ridiculous. But just the way, like, it's hard to explain how good the movie is. Like the way both movies start. The wedding scene, just 30 minutes of just the
Yeah.
introducing you to the family and each character and how they're related to Vito, and what they're gonna bring. It's so good. And number one, I think you already know this. We did a YouTube video on your old YouTube channel about this film, and it is Goodfellas by Mr. Martin Scorsese. Uh, the best actor of all time, in my opinion, Robert De Niro, probably gives his best performance I've ever seen in this. Just the shot of him smoking the cigar in the bar is just pure, like literally the devil. The guy's literally the devil reincarnated in that scene. Um,
Yeah.
it's the perfect revenge, not revenge. It's the perfect time film. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's the perfect time for a film. Um, there's no point in the film where nothing's happening. There's always something going on, something fucked up, or someone's getting shot in the face, someone's getting kicked, someone's dying, someone's getting revenge on someone. Even Samuel Jackson's in it. When before he was in Pulp Fiction, he was in it for like a good two scenes, and he's great in it also. But
Wait,
I could mention rest in peace to Ray Liotta. Probably definitely his best performance ever. Probably should have been nominated for an Oscar, which he didn't. I don't think.
no, he didn't.
Joe Pesci won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. He was fantastic in it. The fact that Joe Pesci made Goodfellas and Home Alone in the same year, probably one of the
Yeah.
greatest years for an actor ever, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, I think just the story. It's not even a story about the main guy in a mob family. It's about a guy. It's about a hitman. It's about a guy who's not even a part of the family. He just gets brought into it by his influences and what he wanted to be when he grew up, and then he just gets dragged into these situations that he gets brought into, and just the Copacabana long shots. Probably my favorite scene in any movie ever. Just the way, it introduces you to the mob scene in New York and New Jersey. It's fantastic. And like we mentioned about TV shows a couple of weeks ago when we did our top five. um Basically half the cast in Goodfellas is in The Sopranos, so that's also another thing. But I think in just a general consensus, I know I'm dragging along here, but Goodfellas is just, if you haven't seen it, you have to fucking watch it. It's nothing like, it's unlike any movie I've seen. And Scorsese is just the best at making those types of movies. The first half is just all happy and you're enjoying every single second of it, and then the last half is just the demoralization of the character. Same with Wolf of Wall Street, same with Casino. You can go on and on, but yeah,
Yeah, man.
I can
No,
go. I could literally talk about Goodfellas for an hour and a half just
no,
right
it is,
now.
which we've done. We have though.
Yeah,
That's
check it out. Check it out on what was it? There will be movies.
There'll be
There will
movies.
be movies. Yep, check it out.
All right. Let me start off with my list now. Let me
Yeah,
continue on.
you can go on. Go. You can drag on as long as you want.
All right,
I
sounds
you
good.
did you've waited too long.
No, it's all good. My number six, my honorable mention, a Scorsese film, but not a 2001, because I think this film had a much different impact on me than any other film did. I was just so astonished by it, how gruesome and violent it was. Is A Clockwork Orange. I remember
Mhm.
specifically where I was when I saw this film. I was
Did you say a Scorsese movie?
sorry, Kubrick. My bad. Yeah. Um, yeah, but it was, I
Yeah.
remember it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I don't know. Let me put on this movie. And I was like, all right. And I watched it. I watched all of it. And I was just blown away by the first scene, the first song of In the Lounge, the Milk Lounge, of you seeing Alex DeLarge just zoomed in. Just the characters around him are frozen, basically. It's quite incredible, and just something about it. Even the plot isn't really that much of like a interesting story. It is interesting, but it's more the aesthetic of the film and the way it's shot and the way the production design is, and just everything about it is,
Hmm.
especially the performances are just so original, so different. There's nothing like it. If you told me that movie came out in 2000 fucking 50, I would say yeah, that makes sense, like, because it's so
Hmm.
ahead of its time. um at number five, I've got on my actual list now. I've got another personal film to me, but I'm sure it's most people can relate to it. It's E.T. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. One of my favorite films as a child. I absolutely love this movie because of just its very very homey and relatable feeling to it, even though it's about an alien coming down to live with a family and escape. But I think the what's so brilliant is what Steven Spielberg is able to do, creating these relationships with these two characters, Elliot and
Hmm.
ET, even though it's something so out of this world. And I think as a kid, you feel like you're alienated and different from your parents, and you feel like you're not like anyone else, and sometimes you feel like you're an alien yourself. And I think there's something
Hmm.
so metaphorical and something so beautiful about the story of ET and the ending when it finally peace off. It just makes me cry every single time. I don't care where I
Hmm.
am, where it's at. I think ET, there's something about it that is just so special to me, and just the storytelling is incredible. The storytelling of it is just awesome and so relatable. At number four, another movie holds dearly to me. I remember it took me forever. My parents were very uh, secret, not secretive is the word, but reclusive towards me in terms of what I was allowed to watch. And I remember it took me forever. I was like 14 when I watched this movie for the first time, The Dark Knight, which you put on your list. And I thought I was like, or I was like, too old. I'm too old to not watch this movie. And finally I did, and
Hmm.
I absolutely fucking loved it. I loved every scene from start to finish of The Dark Knight. I think it's one of those movies where movies are supposed to make you feel like you're a part of it. Sometimes you're supposed to feel this voyeurism where you are looking down on these characters, but I felt like
Hmm.
I was a part in the chase, and looking directly at Joker, talking and speaking with these characters, and interacting with them in The Dark Knight, because there's something that Christopher Nolan does in terms of music and sound and editing and cinematography, that all he incorporates all of those aspects of filmmaking into one to create something that is so entertaining and so much fun to watch. You're on this giant roller coaster ride, and
Hmm.
of just so much chaos, and that's the whole theme of this film, is it's chaos. If you've done enough movie reviews and breakdowns of The Dark Knight, the film's about chaos, and that's a movie's theme, I guess you could say, and it definitely encompasses that. But I love it. I love every aspect of The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, I don't know if I think you've seen it, but I don't know if you agree with this choice as much as I do. On a top 5 movies of all time list, it'd be Boogie Nights. Boogie
Okay.
Nights. I think Boogie Nights, especially from the performances and the way the story is shot. I've got a poster right in front of me. Each character is so just, I think, interesting in their own aspect. I just John C. Riley, maybe one of the best casts of all time. John C. Riley, Don Cheadle, Mark Wahlberg, Heather Graham, Julianne Moore, Burt Reynolds, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Um, it's just the list goes on of all these incredible performances, the score, the feeling of the film. You are totally transported into the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those movies you are enjoying looking at what is going on the screen. You like, the costumes that they're wearing of the 70s. It makes you want to go back into the 70s. And I just remember listening to that soundtrack like over and over again because it's so good in Boogie Nights. And it's such an original film too. And PTA, it was one of his second film ever, and you can tell it's a first feature film. It's a passion project. I think you can just tell with it. There's something about it that is very, very original and very, very pure. And so that's why I have that in number 3. I think as a person that aspires to be in the film industry, it's a good movie to look at because it does that job of being very original and pure. Number 2, it is A Wonderful Life. I first saw this film in film class, and I was again blown away by this movie.
At 2,
yeah,
that high. I mean, I have it rated 5 stars too, but I was not expecting that.
I think, well, to me, I think it comes at a time. It came at a time, I guess, not necessarily where I was in like a bad place, but I think it can do that for anybody who is in a bad place. I think it's a special film where if somebody's, struggling mentally, you could show them this film, and it can definitely teach somebody a lesson about and show them that they are loved and they are cared no matter what, no matter what uh, Jimmy Stewart is going through in this film. You can always progress forward and keep on trucking because that's what the film is about at its base. And you see that it's also a Christmas movie, which I love. Christmas films are I love that theme. And I think it's just the ending is so awesome, so positive. Also, just the style of it is great. It's Jimmy Stewart, great performance. It just a wonderful film. Like it's a wonderful life. It's true.
Yeah.
Life is wonderful. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. And I think need more movies like that. I think there's not enough movies like It's a Wonderful Life that just are so positive and feel good to them. At number 1, I've got a film that I think you put at number 1 too. Goodfellas. Again, I love this film with all my heart. I've seen it so many fucking times, too many times. I can watch it whenever. If it's on TV, I'll put it on, I'll watch it, and I'll catch up, and I know exactly what is going on in this movie. In terms of cinematography, score, soundtrack, it is awesome. It is so good. Performance-wise, it's great. They just do, every scene is so different from the one before that it just keeps you entertained the entire time. Goodfellas is a 5-star film. People see this movie and are like, oh my gosh, I gotta watch Pulp Fiction. Now I gotta watch Taxi Drive, Raging Bull, Godfather Part 2, Heat. Every movie that is kind of similar to those, and then that's what kickstarts us into this whirlwind of watching these awesome, incredible films. And that's what Goodfellas is. I think it kickstarted me into enjoying movies that are more than just superheroes and laser shit like that. So yeah, that's my list.
Yep. I like during while you were talking, I was just looking through my list of five-star films, right? I could say the whole Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
trilogy.
I have
I
that
could
as all
literally
five
put
star.
that as three of them. I could put Shawshank Redemption. I could put Schindler's List. I could put one I just watched recently, which I fucking loved. Cinema Paradiso, an Italian film. I love that movie so much. I could put Parasite by Bong Joon Ho.
Yeah.
I could put Inglorious Bastards on this list. Like I could have replaced anything with my honorable mention. Um, you know, the new Dune that came out this year was fucking
Oh my
fantastic.
God.
I could put that on here right now.
Yeah.
I could put so many. You know, one that's very. I'll just name one more. One very underrated film. Is Amadeus. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Amadeus is a period piece about Mozart, and I think it's you know it's fantastic. Like it's just so good. I can name so many right now, but you know
I've got
we can't make a 3 hour podcast.
Barry Lyndon, Taxi Driver,
Yeah,
Empire Strikes Back,
yeah,
uh, Forrest Gump, Modern Times, A Christmas Story, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sunset Boulevard.
hmm
Let's see what else. I've got a lot like Schindler's List, Few Good Men, Moneyball.
yeah,
You know, Parasite, The
yeah,
Father, Adaptation, Fargo, Apocalypse Now, Deer Hunter, The Thing. So
yeah.
many, so many good ones. No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood. All incredible films. So there's a lot of really, really good movies out there that need.
Yeah, it's hard to put top five for that. It's really hard.
It is, yeah,
It's hard to do that, but we gave it our best. We gave it our best shot there.
yeah.
This is making me want to rewatch all these movies. Like
I know it does.
I really wanted to put Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. I think, oh my God.
I have
Or
Spider-Man 2 instead of Flash.
across the Spider-Verse, the new one is like I've never been so amazed by an animated movie ever. The amount of work put like when you really like we I heard after the movie that scene where he's running out from the spider headquarters or whatever, it took
Yeah,
them 2 years to make that alone. It took the animators 2 years to make
wow.
that. Just to hear that and you know how much time it went into making that is just so crazy. And the story is also amazing too. And probably my favorite fictional character, Spider-Man. Just you know, and watching that story of Miles Morales is just awesome. So
Yeah,
I could have easily put that there too.
yeah,
But yeah, a lot of great movies. But get people get watching these top five lists. It's great list going on here.
absolutely. All right. Well, anything else you have to add, my friend?
You know what's not a good film is this movie we watched a few weeks ago in New Waves class called La Chinoise was horrible.
I did not like that.
Or Jean-Luc Godard, do not watch that French fuck. Do not watch that.
He's got some good. Like Breathless is actually not a terrible film, but that's his most popular and most famous.
Right.
Not a horrible movie that I actually do kind of enjoy. But other than that, yeah, it was terrible. It's so
horrible. Horrible. It's just a lot of yelling and propaganda bullshit.
Pretentious, such a pretentious film, such a pretentious film, and that's what makes me hate it. So,
yeah,
all
just
right.
just letting you guys know, don't watch those.
Do yourself a favor, don't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that ends it off there. That I think we should end it off there. That was a solid list. Very, very good by us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure like us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of the platforms. We will be on there. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. See you.